Hovercraft are doing unusual things. These machines, designed and built in Britain, are opening up parts of the world inaccessible to normal transport, and doing familiar things in unusual ways.
Nothing special about my job. I go to the office every day like lots of other people. Only down here, we commute by hovercraft. It may not have come your way yet, but we find it almost hard to remember pre-hover days. Just like getting on a bus. We could go by boat, of course, but hover travel is, well, quicker. We're up on our air cushion, but on a day like this, we're soon doing 50 knots. Seven minutes. That's about all it takes for the 3-mile crossing. No messing about at the end. A short walk, and I'm off on my way again. There's the odd day or two in the year, of course, when the weather's too bad for comfort. But otherwise, the service runs all the year round. No sooner has she got rid of us, than she's turned round and on her way back again. Nothing special about this when you're used to it.
Nothing special. Let's go back and consider the ingenuity of the father of hovercraft, Christopher Cockerell, and the use he made of a simple hairdryer, a tube, kitchen scales, and 2 kitchen tins. In the now famous coffee tin experiment, Cockerell attached the tube to the hairdryer, directed the airflow to one side of the scales, and counterbalanced its effect with a weight. Then, after fitting one tin inside the other, so that the air could flow freely between them, emerging as a circular curtain, he attached this contraption to the end of the tube. If he was right in his belief, when he now directed the same airflow from the same height onto the scales, more weights would be needed to counterbalance it. He was right. A simple cylinder, open at both ends with a fan fitted inside, hovered slightly on the low-pressure air cushion it created. But by widening the base section, although hover height was barely altered, extra weight could be supported. And when a bottom was added to this base section, what happened? On striking the surface, the air curtain was deflected both inwards and outwards until a cushion of air was built up inside and then trapped by the now entirely outflowing air curtain. Thanks to that cushion, the same airflow was carrying the same weight at an increased hover height. Angling the air curtain inwards gave an even deeper air cushion and a further increase in the hover height. This was applied in the original SRN-1 and the craft that followed. This version of the CC2, which hovers a clear foot above the surface, has been primarily used for research. Early on in the development of hovercraft, it was realized that those intended to operate over water only could use rigid sidewalls to contain the air cushion, with air curtains at front and rear only. At rest, much of the surface of the marine hovercraft is immersed like a normal boat. It is largely water resistance which limits the speed of ordinary craft, but the marine hovercraft can rise on its air cushion, leaving only the thin edges of its sidewalls in the water. In its early days, the HD-1 was used for research and development and for the evaluation of the performance of sidewall craft. But the real breakthrough with amphibious hovercraft was the introduction of flexible extensions, or skirts. Because these adjust themselves closely to uneven surfaces, a better seal of the air cushion is obtained, producing a smoother and more level ride and an increased clearance height. The skirts, made of plastic-coated fabrics, vary in design according to the particular craft. The SRN-5 was the first production hovercraft to take advantage of flexible extensions, giving a 4-foot clearance between the surface and the hard structure of the craft. On meeting obstacles, the skirts simply brush aside. The experimental HD-1 became amphibious with the replacement of its rigid sidewalls by flexible extensions. And the research program, using the CC2, was widened to include skirt development. Models are used in this work too. Tests are carried out to establish the best design of fan for a particular craft, to give economy of power. Computers present on an oscilloscope the motion of the hovercraft in relation to the water surface. Christopher Cockrell and his team studied the results applied to a model and a moving table. Models, dynamically similar to their full-scale counterparts, working over water tanks where the waves are tailor-made, feed information for use in design and development. We record thrust and drag over a wide range of speed and sea conditions. Functional models, both self-propelled and towed, highlight any problems of stability and control. Testing new designs in this way saves time and money. In fact, it's an essential preliminary to full-scale trials. But it's only when we put a craft through its paces in working conditions that we really know all about its performance. Full-scale trials are particularly valuable when a new principle's involved. The CC4 has fans which provide air not only for lift, but also for propulsion. This means a considerable reduction in noise. When we work out a trials program, we have to be prepared to meet tough conditions. All vehicles operating over sand, for example, stir up dust. Visibility could have been a snag, but our speed left the dust behind us. We hovered inside our cloud of spray during winter trials, slowing the craft down to a standstill to get an artificial build-up of ice. The VA2 remained operational even under these conditions. The engine is the heart of every vehicle, and we certainly don't need to be reminded of the part which engine designers can play in getting the best performance from hovercraft.
Well, you read a lot about hovercraft, but honestly, I never took them really seriously till I went on one. We were on holiday up on the Clyde and treated ourselves to a trip on the SRN6 just for the novelty. Now we're seriously thinking of going the same way across the channel. After all, they have already been across the North Sea to Amsterdam.
Hovercraft have become familiar sights all over the world, in places like Scandinavia, Germany, San Francisco and New Zealand. We took the VA3 over to the States and had her out over the Atlantic surf off Long Island. Back home, they built the SRN3 specifically for evaluation by the services. She can carry 70 fully equipped men, or 4 Land Rovers, or a variety of other military equipment. SRN5s have been out working with the forces in the Far East, doing regular runs over shallows and uncharted rapids which no other craft can touch. At times they met a 12-knot current, and on one 300-mile run they averaged 40 knots. In the Middle East, too, the hovercraft has shown that it's more truly amphibious than any other vehicle. All these things explain the growing interest in British hovercraft throughout the world. The hovercraft industry has large passenger and car ferries in production. One of them carries 250 passengers and over 30 cars, or up to 800 standing passengers. Working models aren't only needed in research, they're used to demonstrate to customers and help fill the order books. But when craft are ordered, research may have to be linked with actual performance requirements. Airflow problems, cushion behavior, propulsion. These are the main fields of investigation. And beyond these, facilities now have to be designed to cope efficiently with the SRN-4s and with the large numbers of passengers and vehicles using the hoverports of tomorrow. Then there are all the possible new uses of the hovercraft principle. Because the air cushion can spread weight over a large area, it is being used for transporters to carry otherwise impossible loads over bridges and unprepared roads. Another proposal now being studied with mock-ups and models is the high-speed hover train.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard the hover train. We hope you will have a pleasant journey. Refreshments will be served in a few minutes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Your 400-mile journey is programmed from a control center in London, and we will arrive in 1 hour and 30 minutes. The hover train will be, on many routes, the quickest city center to city center method of transport. But something within immediate reach is the 6-seater CC5, although it is not running on a scheduled service. However, scheduled passenger services are running even at night.
Of course, we commuters take all this for granted now. Traveling home at night is just routine. But all the same, I can't help feeling that there's something rather special about hovercraft and the people who design and build them.